Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is a 20-part video series showing you how to create LC house. Let's get started. To start, let's open a new architecture template. So click on New, drop down, and then select Architecture Template, and then press OK. And then we start off at level 1. So here, what we're gonna add first is grid line. So you need to go to Architecture, and then grid line is around on the right side. You can also type in GR, and then after that, you can select from the bottom to the top. So we're gonna start our vertical grid line. And then here, as you can see, as you notice, it starts with number 1 grid line. So that's fine. So we could select that again. And then you can actually type in CO, or under modify, it's copy command. So type in CO, and then you need to select that again to grab it and then put it on the right side so that it knows the direction that you want to add the second. So here I'm going to type in 3775, and then here it's stop. That's because we didn't click on the multiply. So now CO again, select this, grab it on the right side, and then before you put in any numbers and press enter, you need to click on multiply so that we could just keep on adding grid lines and then just typing the numbers. So here we're going to add in 4540. Next will be 1620, and then lastly 2185. So those are our vertical grid line, and as you can see, Revit recognized it and it is in sequence. So now let's press escape and then escape again. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add in our horizontal grid line. So GR again, click it from the right side to the left side, and then click it again. Press escape and then escape again. And if we zoom in, it recognizes that the 6 is the next one. But here on our horizontal, it's better if we put letters so that it's easier for us to recognize. You can even mix this up. This one can be numbers and this one can be letters. So it's up to you if you which one do you want. But usually in horizontal it's numbers, and then in vertical it's numbers, and in horizontal it's letters. So let's zoom in, click on the grid bubble, and then type in capital A. Click on the space, and then now this is still highlighted. So if we click it again, CO, that's copy. Multiple is already checked because it recognized that. That's the last thing that we did here. So it will recognize that. And then here, what we're going to do is we're going to pull it downwards so that it knows that it will go down. And if you notice, it will change to B and so on and so forth. So the sequence will be correct. Revit will recognize that as well. So 1830. Next will be 2970. Then next will be 1725. And then after that, 4845. Then next will be 3840. 40. So make sure this is all going this in the straight path. So I just noticed that, and then now I need to just back it up. So I remove that. So this will be 3840. And then after that, that will be 5760. Press escape and then escape again. So now, as you can see, we want our elevation tags to be in the middle of our model. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select our grid line and then just drag it so that it's around the middle of the grid line. That's because once we have our model right here, everything that is facing here will be shown. So if your elevation tag is around here, anything that is created on this side won't be shown on your elevations. So this is very important to put everything in the middle. Elevation tags is easy to move. So as you can see, you can move it anywhere else. So you want to make sure that your model is in the middle of all of this. So now, as you can see, this is too high or too wide. So I'm gonna do is select the grid line, and as you can see, there's a dashed line here. That indicates that if we move one of this, everything will move. So that's easy for us. We don't need to one by one it. So at least that's the easiest part of how you doing grid lines in Revit. So here I'm just going to extend this. The reason that I'm extending this is because we're going to add in dimension. So here what we're gonna do is type in DI, that's the dimension. And then here, so I want my ribbon to be shown here. It's basically at the top here. It's not being shown because of my screen resolution. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just click on the drop down arrow at the right side of the ribbon, and then once you click that, you need to click show below ribbon. Once you have that, you'll be able to see it here. So to just reverse that, you just need to click on the drop down and then select this. So I just like it in this spot. So DI is align dimension. So I'm gonna select that. And then what we're gonna do is select each and every grid lines like so. And then after that, select the ends to have an overall. Here again, we're going to add and then select an overall. So now we have our dimension, and as you can see, you can follow along. And then after this, before we go further, let's save our project. So I'm just gonna select save, and then you just need to go to the location that you want to. So I'm just gonna go to the location that I want to, and then after that, I'm gonna show you guys what you need to do. So I'm just gonna show this, and then I'm gonna name this one as LC House. So naming it LC House, I'm in my Revit folder, and before you click save, you click on the option. So here, the basic or the default is 20 maximum backup. So for me, if you guys are beginners, you can do this as 20 or 10 so that you can always go back to the save ones that you have if you're making mistake or if you made a mistake. So here I'm just going to put it 5 for if you're intermediate or expert, 5 or 1. So I'm just gonna leave it at 5. So every time I click on the save command, so I'm gonna save this, it will create a save format there. So if I click 5 more, or 4 more. And if you see this, we have 5 of this one right now. But if we click it again, it will now overwrite the last one that we saved. So now that's how it works. So click here now. It will still maintain the 5, but now it overridden the last one that we did. So now let's see. So we have saved that. So now let's go back to architecture and click on level. So what we need to do before we click on level is we need to go to our south elevation or any elevation. I prefer south elevation because that's what I'm used to. But if you want to do your north or east and west, you can do so. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create some levels. So earlier when we're in floor plan, the level is grayed out. So now if we go to south elevation, it will be highlighted and you'll be able to use it. So here we have level 1 to level 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the level height from 3000 instead of 4000. So it will go down like that. You can also select your level and then you can click on copy. So you can type in CO, select that, and then grab it, and then put it to 3000. You can type it. So now we created our level 3. But at the same time, our level 3 is not showing here. So there's a couple ways to do this. You can do what I did, copy, and then you could go to view and then select plan views, drop down, and then click on floor plan and then select the level 3 and then press OK. Once you do, the level will be created. Another way, so I'm gonna undo this, is just going to architecture, clicking on level, and then you could manually add your level like so. And you're basically being careful to make it 3000 as well. If you notice here, level 3 is not yet appearing. But once we select here and then add the level 3, it will instantly appear. So those are the two different ways of adding levels or those levels. But I believe if you're doing multiple levels at the same time or adding multiple levels at the same time, I believe doing the copy command is the easiest thing to do. So if you only have 2 or 3 floors, might as well just do the level. If not, create the copy and then add it manually, only if it's the same height of each other. So now there's common instance where your grid bubbles are way below here. The issue that you will have if your grid bubbles are below or grid lines are below the level is if we go to level 3, your grids are not appearing. That's because it's not being shown because it's not intersecting on the level. So now what you need to do is to grab it and then pull it upwards like so. And then once you do, this will appear automatically because everything is intersecting. So what I usually do, check all your elevation. I always like to have some room because you can also add dimensions right here. So if you have a big project, you usually add dimensions as well. So now I'm just checking each and every one of them. So it looks like everything is good. Let's go back to level 1. And then here you can select close inactive views. So basically only level 1 will stay because all of this will be closed. All of those are not being used anyway, and it's just sometimes it's just dragging some space along. So might as well clean up when you're doing this. So select that, and then everything will close. Click on save again. So we just need to go back to south elevation because I want to add a ground level. So here I'm just going to select level, and let's put a ground level around 500 from level 1. And if you notice, it calls itself level 4 just because the last one that we added is level 3. And here I'm going to extend this one. So I'm going to change the name of level 4. So I'm going to select that and then type in capital ground floor. In all caps. It will ask you if you would like to rename the corresponding view. Just say yes, and it will change the name right here. And then after that, if you zoom in, there's an elbow, which is looking like a zigzag there, or a letter Z. If you select that, it will create an elbow in order for you to change or to see all the names so that nothing is overlapping each other. So here I'm just going to drag this one and also this one in order for us to see it better. And that's how you clean up a drawing like so. And just to double check, if we check ground floor, hopefully everything is showing again. So just go here, drag it down. Here in elevation east, you need to fix it again, add an elbow. And then if you notice, there's not a lot of space on this side. So you can always drag it right there to have more room. And then let's go to north. North looking good, except for the name of the ground floor and level 1. And then let's go to south and just quickly clean this up. So now that's looking good. Let's go back to level 1 again. And then here this is where we're going to add all the walls, exterior and interior. And then we're just going to extend it to ground floor later on for the exterior part. So you don't need to go to ground floor yet. We're gonna do the ground floor by adding floors for the ground and grass and all of those stuff. But here is where we're going to put all our furniture, walls, and all those stuff. And then before we finish, I'm just going to set up our exterior wall. So let's select wall under architecture, and then here we have generic basic wall generic. If we use this, this is basically empty inside. So that's the idea. But now I remember, or I know that newer Revit has preset walls. So you can just select one of this, click on edit, and then here edit, and then before you do anything else, duplicate this. So type in exterior wall number 1, press OK, and then click on edit, and then you can delete all of this except for the middle. So 5, 6, and 7, core, structure, and core boundaries. Those are the things that you cannot edit. So if we edit now, if we go here, this will be grayed out. This will be grayed out as well. Go to membrane layer, delete that. And then now we're stuck with 3 of this. This is for the exterior side, and this will be the interior side. Now we could just set the thickness to 200 and just change this to something that is white. So most of the time I'm putting gypsum wallboard. Select that, press OK, and then OK. So now we're ready to start for for part 2. So thank you for watching and hope you liked the video. Please hit like and subscribe. Feel free to comment down below.